the civil construction
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years. Well, I don't have to tell you how things are here right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm on the hunt. I'm looking around for new opportunities. So I saw the ad.
Right.
Very interested, skeptical a little bit because kind of
I could imagine.
I tried to
I could
master the
imagine.
brain.
I could imagine. I could imagine.
So I'm
And
very curious.
that is why we wanted to have this session so that we basically have you all talk to somebody who's doing it, who's in it,
Right.
because I just don't want me being a Trinidadian, you know what I mean? Another person
Mm,
will say, yeah, you from Trinidad. He will say that, you know?
yeah.
So I think one of the good things is me being out here is really finding a lot of opportunities that we just don't know exist now, boy. But
Okay, so you're in the
um,
States right
yeah,
now?
I'm in New
Okay.
Jersey right now. Yeah.
Oh, New Jersey. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I am actually not in the construction industry. I am in health staffing. I came up here to start a health staffing business.
Right.
And but I wanted to do US government contracting, and that is where I would have met Kevin and so on. And we started a rapport, and I was just wondering, like, well, my previous history is basically doing NGO work, right?
Okay.
At Steve Reynolds Productions, but we would have done some work for the US Embassy, and I would have noticed that there was an ability to do grants or other work for the US, right? And I was wondering, like, well, I had just signed up for grants, but then I realized, well, no, you could actually do work for the US government, but you can't do it without registering and that kind of stuff. So
Right.
that's what really got me interested in it. I reached out to Kevin, and it has blown my mind the amount of opportunities that it have here and everything. The thing that I love about it is that everything is so out there. Like nothing is hidden. The information is there. You could go and research. You could go and see. It have nothing to say like, I can't lie and say, well, well, it have this amount of contracts. So you could actually go and research those figures.
Right.
So it's not, we are accustomed to having to know somebody or no. A lot of this stuff is very, very competitive.
Right.
And because of what we would normally pay and so on in the Caribbean, when we check the prices that, they would like, for instance, when I was working out some of the stuff today, what we would pay probably at E-class Mason, right, was under the minimum payment across there.
Right.
So, there's a lot of stuff that, so
Yeah.
Anan, are you hearing me? Anan Basano. Just let me know a thumbs up or something. I just want to make sure everybody hears me. Kevin Gordon, are you hearing me? Hi, Kevin, are you hearing me? All right, okay. All right, there's somebody thumbs up. Yeah. Alan, you hearing me? Great. All right, great. Kevin, you're hearing me. All right, so um, as I said before, I came across this, and there's a lot of opportunity here that we just in the Caribbean sleeping on, I mean, and other people from other parts of the world taking real advantage of it. And so it's just something that I wanted to introduce, and I didn't want to introduce it from my point of view. I wanted the, persons from the Caribbean to actually hear from an expert. So we will be joined by Kevin Jennings in a little while. I just called him. He just told me logging into his computer. So probably taken 2 minutes. And he is out actually. So, I'll have him come and kind of tell you guys a little bit about himself. But, his story is really incredible. And I found that, I mean, construction is so hard in the Caribbean. Doing government contracts, is so difficult. And when I heard of, I mean, how transparent the process is in the United States, um, and how basically, we could compete on a level, because there are certain things set aside for small businesses. So I don't want to take up too much of the conversation, but at the same time, I just don't want the dead air, right? To be playing. So I will just want to kind of share my screen a little bit, you know, because this will be relevant when we talk in a little while. So I'm gonna just share my screen here. While we waiting, okay. So I'm just gonna so
Hello, I am Ambassador Candace Bond, U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and I have great news to share with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I have just signed the agreement to acquire the property at 137 Long Circular Road in Marival as a new U.S. Embassy site in Port of Spain. This is an important and exciting project which will benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago in many, many ways. The U.S. government's commitment to the construction of a new embassy is a powerful indicator of the long-standing, robust relationship between the people and government of the United States of America and the people and government of Trinidad and Tobago. That's you. The U.S. government will invest more than $400 million to plan, build, and design the new U.S. Embassy. In addition to providing scores of jobs during the new embassy's construction, the project will showcase state-of-the-art and eco-friendly designs and materials. It will also allow the U.S. Embassy to better serve our constituents, improve the experience for visa applicants, and provide new and improved facilities and services for those conducting business with the U.S. government. While it will take a few years before we relocate to the new site, we are really looking forward to this new chapter and our new home. It is solid, tangible evidence of the robust relationship between our two great countries, and yet further evidence that the United States of America is Trinidad and Tobago's best partner and friend in the world. It will be a permanent symbol of our unbreakable bond.
all right. So guys, I am just gonna introduce someone here, a good friend of mine who has, is a mentor. He's done some incredible work, and I'm really, really glad to have him here today. And, basically to kind of really introduce us to some new opportunities, especially for small businesses and things that could really make a difference in our lives. So, Kevin, I don't know if you could put on your camera, right? Okay. And so,
Yeah, it's getting loaded up. All right, there we go.
okay, great. So, Kevin, we are also broadcasting on Facebook. So, that's cool with you. All right. And good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Making Moves. And today we have a special guest in the house. My friend, I'm very proud to say, my colleague, my mentor, when it comes to U.S. government contracts, Kevin Jennings. And he's here to talk about some of the opportunities that are available for us here in the Caribbean. In construction today, we invited a lot of construction companies, but there are basically opportunities for any type of business. But we kind of stayed in construction today. And for those of you all who don't know me, my name is Stephen Edwards, and this is Making Moves, where we bring opportunities to Caribbean persons from all over the world. And without any further ado, let's just start with a little word of prayer before we get into it. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you, Lord God, for who you are. Thank you, Lord God, for the opportunities that you would bring. And I pray, Lord God, that the Caribbean, as well as persons all over the world, will be able to work together and prosper in your purpose. Through Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. All right, guys, now that we've done, the necessary, I am so glad to introduce Kevin Jennings here today. And many of you all might know him from on Instagram. Some of you all may have come across his page, The Government Cheese. Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get involved in U.S. government contract?
Yeah, so born and raised in Miami, Florida. My parents are Jamaican American, so have deep Caribbean roots as well. I got started in government contracting. It'll be 14 years in April. And what pushed me to get into government contracting was I was in the real estate field for a long time in Miami. And when the recession hit in 2008, things went down and I had to figure out another way to generate revenue for myself. And so I got introduced to government contracting in 2010. And just from there, once I realized all the opportunities that were available to me, I just went and I scaled my companies as much as I can to maximize those opportunities.
Okay.
I was blessed enough in go ahead, John Wilson.
Go ahead. You go ahead. So you have the floor.
I was blessed enough in 2017 to sell one of my companies. And so after I sold that company, I went on to do different types of work. And then in 2021, I got introduced to the internet, I guess you could say. It sounds weird, but I got introduced to the internet in 2021. And then that's when I started the Government Cheese, which is an educational platform which teaches businesses how to market their services or goods to the United States government and to also to local and state governments as well. There is a lot of opportunity with not just only the United States government, but local and state governments. And so I wanted to take the knowledge that I had gained over the past few years and start to reach out to and give back to other small and minority companies that were just like me. I felt like the information is out there,
Right.
but the access to the resources of how to interpret the information was not really out in the marketplace. So that's what we wanted to put together, was a way to show people like, okay, here's all the info that they say you can get access to. Now here's what you do with it. And so that's what.
So let me ask you this, right? Because understand that Caribbean people are very, very skeptical. As you say, they have a Caribbean background.
Right.
Plenty Caribbean persons, because like one of the biggest questions I ask is, do you need a visa? And do you need to have a company in the United States to qualify for U.S. government contracts?
No, the answer is no to both of those. And the reason being is that the United States government does business with everybody all over the world. So you don't need to be a citizen to do business with the government, and you also don't need to have United States-based business. Now, if you do not have citizenship or U.S. business, you will not be eligible for certain certifications.
Right.
Because a lot of the certifications are set aside for U.S. citizens. Now, but that doesn't mean that you still can't do work. You still can do a lot of work and you still can generate revenue. It's just you won't be eligible for certain certifications. But there's absolutely positively no issues with not being a citizen or not even being based in the United States.
Okay. And for those of you who are listening, it doesn't mean as well, but on the converse to that, you can still be a citizen of anywhere in the Caribbean and open a United States company. That's correct, Kevin?
Right, 100%.
So right. Okay, so Kev, not a big question.
Right.
A lot of these are small business persons. How could these small business contractors compete with these? This is the United States of America. How could we compete on any kind of level, especially construction?
Yeah, it's not really a lot of competition, contrary to popular belief. The competition pool is very small, actually. And the reason being is because they set aside a lot of work. So the government wants businesses to generate revenue, because then that's how you pay taxes, that's how you pay employees. That's what starts the economy moving. So there's not really as much competition as people would think there is.
Okay.
There's actually very few companies out there that do work with the government. So what you typically find is the same companies that get work over and over and over again. So when people have that fear of getting in because they're like, well, it's too much competition, I often tell them it's really not. That the competition is actually very, very small.
Okay. And why would US companies, like small business companies, want to have, other companies come on board? Like, won't it be, I mean, we want more of the pie, or,
So like the biggest thing with government contracting is you have to have a different mentality, right? So the problem is most business owners have this mentality like they want everything for themselves because they want to grow their business. But the reality is the United States federal government spends $1 trillion a year. No one business is going to get all that money.
right.
Everybody knows that. So there's no competition. It's all about collaboration. If I see something I can't do nothing with, I call somebody else. If somebody sees something, they call me. Like we all share. Like no one person is going to make all of the money.
Correct.
So that's the big difference between this and normal business. And normal business, they're like, well, I gotta stay hungry because I don't want to lose work. There's no such thing as losing work. There is never going to be enough companies to do all of the work that the government has to do. Every year there's billions of dollars that goes unspent because they don't have people to do the work. So that's one of my missions is to educate people to get in the game so that they have people to do the work. There's more money out there than there are companies to receive the money. But the problem is people are scared to get the money.
Okay. So, Kev, you spoke about selling your company before. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how is it that you sold your company, and what is that like? Because I know, some persons who are in the construction industry tend to think, well, I'll be doing this forever. But
Yeah.
you're talking about a great concept of actually getting your business to a level where you can actually sell it.
Yeah, it's all about scaling a business properly so it has value, right? So the problem with like minorities in America, and I don't know if it's the same in the Caribbean, but like here in America, minorities don't really think that they can be any more than that. It's almost like a complacency thing. Like you're just supposed to work all the time. Like we're not really supposed to be rich. We all want to be rich, but the reality is no, we'll never really be rich. Like that's not really going to happen. But when you get into government contracting, it levels the playing field. And so the opportunities are there for you. So I was acquired by actually one of my competitors.
Right.
One of the competitors, I was getting a lot of work and they wanted access to the work that I had won. So instead of trying to fight me on more bids, they let me win as much work as I wanted to win. And then they bought my company from me so they could have the work. And so that's the big thing is that in this field that once again, there's no competition because those people that, like I said, they were technically my competitors before they were people that I were bidding against. They then became my business partners. And so that's the thing that we have to change in our mindset when we start doing government contracting is we're all on the same team. There is no competition and we're not fighting against nobody. If you will lose some work or you win some work, there's still opportunities. If you lose work, you can reach out to the person that won and see if you can do subcontracting. If you win work, you can reach out to the people that lost and see if they want to sub to you. Like there's always opportunities to generate more revenue in this field. You'll never, if money is your normal problem, which for most business owners, all they think about is, well, how am I going to make money? Money's not your problem in government contracting. Money is the least of your problems.
So you make
That's why America makes money every day.
Right. You made an important point there, which is often a curse word in the Caribbean called subcontracting. We don't like to hear that in subcontracting. But could you explain how much the difference in subcontracting with US government contracting?
So subcontracted in US government work. So there's about $126 billion a year that's spent in prime contracts and another 73 billion in subcontracts.
Just say that again. Just say that. You're saying that. Yeah, Kev, you gotta remember, right? We like in Trinidad, one US is $70. So when you talk about $1 billion and 73 billion, you're talking about a lot of money there for us, eh? So how much money is there in subcontracting?
So for small businesses, that's just small businesses, right? They spent 172 billion for small business and prime contracts and another 73 billion in subcontracts.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with subcontracting. People often shy away from subcontracting because they're worried about, oh, I'm not going to get paid. That's not the case when you're doing work for the government. When you do subcontracting work and the government is the prime client, the main client, the person who you're working under has to pay you. They don't have a choice. And if they don't pay you, the government will pay you and then the government will go after them. So like I said, once again, the difference in this is people, especially small and minority businesses, money is always the big thing. Everybody's worried about money. But you have to change your mindset because money.
Like, yeah. So you're freeze there. Hello, hello, hello. All right, guys. Everybody hearing me, or is just
Worried about anything.
Kev? You're froze there for a little moment. So could you repeat that, please?
Now, I was saying that if money is the main issue, typically, that's not an issue in government contracting because as long as you do your job, you will get paid.
Okay, okay. So Kev, can I ask you something personal? Like, what is one of the biggest contracts that you've ever won?
My largest single award was $100 million, and that was with the Veterans Administration. That was like 2016. But that's the largest single award.
$100 million.
Mm.
Wow. All right. Okay. So, guys, here's the thing, right? Kev is normally in Florida, and he's not in Florida right now. Kev, you want to tell them where you are and what you're doing there?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada right now, and I'm working for the NFL building out the Super Bowl. So I've been here since January like 7th, and I'll be here all the way through the middle of March.
Okay, so guys, that lovely stage that we look at every Super Bowl year, this is the guy who's responsible for it. So I want to open up to any questions that you guys may have, because I know a lot of you may have some questions, may still have some skepticism. So we want to open up for any questions that you might have. Those of you all on Facebook, unfortunately, I can't see you, so I would have sent out the Zoom, so you guys will need to join the Zoom to ask those questions. But anybody have any questions that you want to ask, Kev?
I'm good if you guys. I'm just opening up to you guys. Allow you to ask.
Nobody has questions. All of a sudden, everybody's been asking me all the time, about this, that, and the other. Okay, Darren.
Someone said, please explain the process.
Okay, so I came a bit late, so I did not get from the start. So what I probably missed was how do we get there if we want it?
How do you get what? Say that again.
How do we get it? How do we get the contract? Or how do we able to tender on the contract? Whether it be a subcontract, whether it be a GC.
Yeah, I think somebody wanted to understand that as well. They said, please explain the process. All right, so the process of getting set up with the federal government, with the United States government, is very easy. There's a website called sam.gov. You go on sam.gov and you can register your company to do business with the government. Because you guys are not a US-based company, what you're going to do is you're going to apply for what's called an in-cage code. Once you get that number back, that will allow you to then start bidding on contracts. You can search these contracts by your industry codes. You can search them by your location. And then you'll be able to see the different opportunities that are coming out. I will tell you, there are a lot of opportunities, particularly construction opportunities, all throughout the Caribbean. The United States government is always building new embassies, and they're always upgrading their embassies because, like you guys know, in the Caribbean, there's always hurricanes. Weather is very tough on buildings, and the United States pride themselves on always having the biggest and the best buildings in every country. So construction is constantly taking place in the Caribbean, not just in the United States controlled places like St. Thomas and the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, but also places like Trinidad, Tobago, the Bahamas, any other country that we have an ally with, we are constantly building our embassies. We're constantly building Veterans Administration hospitals because we have a lot of military veterans that retire to the Caribbean. So we have to have a way to take care of them. So there's a lot of construction opportunities that take place in the Caribbean. Another one of the biggest agencies is the National Park Service. There's a lot of national parks all throughout the Caribbean that are controlled and maintained by the United States government. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. But the first steps are getting registered on sam.gov. I see Stephen put it in the chat for you guys. Click that link, go on sam.gov, register your business. Once you get registered, it'll give you the ability to find opportunities and then bid on those opportunities.
All right, great. That answered my question. I have another question for you. I'm not sure if you mentioned it as well. The qualifying criteria. Are there any?
No,
No.
not really. It's a lot different than what normal business because they're trying to give you the work. Whereas in normal business, you're trying to go get work. It's the complete opposite when you're doing government contracting. They're trying to find companies to give money to. In normal business, you're trying to find companies to give you money.
Right.
So there are really no qualifying factors in this because they're trying to do the opposite of what normally is done.
Right. So you mean they're just gonna hand a contract to anyone?
If they're set aside contracts, yes, they will. If they're not set aside, then you will have to bid. Like I said, the set asides and the set aside contracts are going to be a little bit tougher for you to get because you won't qualify for any certifications because you're not a citizen, but you will still be a total small business as long as your revenues are below a certain number. So there's still small business work. And in some cases, yeah. So when they just give out work, those are called sole sources.
Right.
So a sole source is when the government deems you as the sole provider of a certain good or service, and then they just basically give you the contract.
So you said you guys were gonna provide the link, right? Or are you gonna send the link out?
Yeah, it's in the meeting chat right now. Yeah, I saw him put it in there.
Okay, no problem. The other question.
Yeah, I have a question, Kevin, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So in terms of taxes and stuff, right? Would we be subjected to the US government taxes or would it be our local taxes?
No, you'll be subject to taxes where you are.
Or the region we are in?
Yep.
Okay.
And now that's if you set it up as a Trinidad-based company. If you set it up as a United States-based company, then yes, you'll be subject to US taxes. So it's going to be based on where your company is located.
Okay.
And as a non-US citizen, you can still have a United States-based company. But if you're not going to be in the States, it's not really necessary for you to. You might as well just keep your company in Trinidad. I don't know what the taxes are there, but if the taxes there make sense, then you just do that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good night. Is there a PowerPoint or something that walks us through how we obtain the NCAGE code?
I can
like YouTube channel or do you have some?
on my YouTube, you can get a lot of the information. So
okay. Could you put your YouTube in the chat, please?
Stephen, you're muted. Unmute yourself, Steve.
I'll send it to you guys. I'll send that link to you guys.
Thank you.
Meeting, I'll send that to you guys. I think that was a recently upgraded one that he would have done.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Oh,
sorry, for some reason I can't see the chat.
All right.
Yeah.
Darren, you got my stuff via WhatsApp.
Right.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna send the link with the YouTube channel, right?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. All right. So now, guys, I want to talk to you. Okay. So for those of y'all who are really interested, and I mean, after you go through the information, right, and you're really interested, Kevin has a training program, which I did. I thought it was an ideal program, and it's up to you guys, but for those of y'all who really want to take it to the next level, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. One of the things that I love about US government contracting is how transparent everything is. You can research everything. You can research what was the price of something. You can research who got the last bid. You can research a lot of different information. So even if you lose a bid, right, you can now write to them and ask them, why did you lose the bid? So that the other bid that you do, right, you can have an opportunity to do better. The person who may have won the bid, let's say, for instance, you lose to a company, you could still now know who that company is and approach that company for work if you can't do the work. So it's a lot different to the system that we have in the Caribbean. And, that's why I kind of would encourage you all, I mean, if you do want to make the investment, invest in the course, it's up to you. You can go to Sam and you can try it out. And you can do, Kevin YouTube videos. But for me, just being able to do the research. Now, I am not in the construction department at all. I just found that, construction was one of the companies. When I saw what people were being paid in construction to what I know is being paid back home, I thought it was crazy, the difference in figures and numbers. So if, we persons who have construction companies could get an opportunity to do US government contracts, I think that is ideal. And I got Kevin to do a special 20% off of his course just for the Caribbean contractors. So I'm going to send you guys that link too. I will send you a link to the course if you're interested. I mean, you could go through his YouTube information. It's free, right? But if it is you're really interested in really getting serious about it, and you think that this might be an opportunity to make all the difference in your life, because guys, really and truly, all right, Kevin talk about making one single contract for $100 million, right? US. That's 700 million TT. We live our whole life and don't see that money. The lotto never even reach to that kind of money. So understand the kind of opportunities that are available to you now, and I hope that you take advantage of it. We have Ricno, do you have a question?
No, I don't have no question.
Okay. So
That was just
I have a question.
I have a question.
Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin, you got muted. Go ahead.
In terms of the training session, is it a one-on-one thing? Because I like the opportunity to have conversations with Kevin post this. Would the training provide that? So, or should I probably ask his email to reach out to him separately?
No, you can set it up. We could set it up for you because he has appointments where you could talk to him one-on-one on a 15-minute appointments, and I'll send you guys that link. So I'll send you guys a whole package, and you all could go ahead and talk with him, find out more about it. I'm not interested in really being the middleman, right? But at the same time, right now he has a lot going on this plate, and we're trying to make sure that everything is kind of done in an orderly fashion. So we don't have 7 people messaging him, understand? So everything is basically, you could set up an appointment online and have that done, and you could have your conversation with him. Anybody else?
I want to say something. I want to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, go ahead. In relation to the cost, what the cost that he's giving, what's it about? Because the reason why I'm asking is for persons who probably or may have maybe prior construction background, maybe studied some type of construction related field, whether it be engineering, construction management, or building, like just building and renovations.
Okay.
How
The course has
I mean,
nothing to do with construction.
right. So now I'm asking the question:
Mhm.
is it an organization-based course? Meaning, you become part of an organization, kind of.
No, it's a purely educational platform. And what we do in the course is teach you how to sign up with the government, how to get registered, how to find work, how to bid work, how to prepare bids, how to submit them,
Right.
how to close out. It's the process of government contracting. And it's done like that so that way you can relate it to any industry, whether it be healthcare, construction, transportation, no matter what it is, it will all be the same. So it's the
Right.
process of government contracting. We can connect you with different industry organizations if you want organization affiliation. We have partnerships with the MBDA, we have partners with the MNSTC. So there's a lot of different people that we can connect you with if you want to be a part of an organization as well. But the course itself is strictly education.
Right. Understood.
All right.
Understood.
So Kev, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that, guys. So, and even you just want to talk quickly about some of the opportunities that could come out in the diversity program with the NFL, Kev. You just want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different diversity programs. A lot of different companies have them. A big push in the United States now is doing more business with small and minority businesses. So there's a lot of opportunities. And that's one thing we're really focused on as well this year is just making sure that people have access to the information. And so that's what we're big on is just giving people access to information so that you can figure out what opportunities may work best for you and your business. But there's a number of different opportunities out there.
All right. So guys, thank you so much for coming out to the meeting. Thanks so much, Kev, again for your time. We know.
One last question for Kevin, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
For persons who may be interested in subcontracting, how does it go through the same process?
Same process. You still have to be registered, and there's a website called SBA Subnet. So SBA Subnet is where you can go, and that's where the government has all subcontracting opportunities. So there'll be opportunities on there where people are looking for subcontractors if you so choose that that's what you want to do.
Yeah, because the reason why I ask, okay, that's fine. Because I think you answered my question earlier on.
All right.
So that's
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for coming out. Thanks for making it. We will send the recording so you guys could share it. Send it with the links as well as the YouTube. So I appreciate, Kevin, your time. I know you're on a different timeline right now, so take care. God bless you all. And this was Making Moves.
Have a good night.